Our attention to start things at the Face-Off X, but particularly today with Owen Umansky going up against John Mullen, a preseason second-team All-American, and an early whistle.
But that was exactly what Owen Umansky wanted out of that first whistle.
The Harvard winner was 15-14 at the JMA Wireless Dome last year, and inside it's Teddy Malone in the crease to start things off. New cast of characters for Harvard offensively after the graduation of Sam King. Nate Cobry's done well as a sophomore. Bounce shot, hits the back of the cage. That's Andrew Perry, 1-0 Harvard, a guy you're really high on.
I think Andrew Perry is great. I think he's the best shooter on the team with both hands. And again, you see no slide to the Crimson Dodger. Look at this. That's a nice long dot.
Incomplete on the pass behind the cage. It'll stay with Harvard. Plenty of time on the clock.
Figueres and Dwan are such a great combo down low for the Orange. They do a great job, very fundamental in their approach to playing defense.
Peterson ran right by his man, though, and a nice stop by Jimmy McCool.
This is Hoddles. This is where he's been tough to deal with. Getting to that left hand. You see how big McLaughlin is on defense there. Doing a great job showing help, but great. Oh, wow, big save there. Nice opportunity in front. Harvard runs that one out, Joel.
As a first year here at Harvard. Downhill for Peterson. Got his stick checked from behind. Good defense trailing by Tyler McCarthy. Syracuse picking on him here. Little run by Leo. Shot clock halfway gone. Good pass out in front, and on cue, it's Tyler McCarthy. Number 2 of the season for the junior.
Ball spins through X, gets to Spallina, who's pretty deep. Really all he can do back there is look around, scan the defense, and he finds the open cutter here. You see the movement off ball. That's a tough one. Quinn Kelly, the first year, gives up the inside, trying to protect the outside. Coach Byrne mentioned him in the preseason conversation. He's going to have a great career.
Back to Mullen and Umansky wins it clean straight away. And he's going to go right to goal. Got his stick checked, and McCool picks it out of the sky. I feel like Jerry Byrne feels pretty good about where they're at. Face dodge for Hoddle. Knocked to the ground. Ball is loose. Flags are out. And this will be a man up for the Orange.
30 seconds for holding.
Opponents are 1 of 5 against Harvard on the man down this year. Syracuse is 4 of 9 man up, and that one sneaks through. Just caught the left leg of Graham Stevens, and a 2-1 lead for the top team in the country.
The whole possession, they're rotating in and out, forces the defense to defend the players in front of the goal. You can see right there, you got to fill in and replace in the middle. Great look, great skip here. That's hands-free shooting to the low corner.
And now they'll blow the whistle, and we will go even strength for the next 19. And then Harvard will have the man-up opportunity. We are still 27 flags away from the Adelphi-Frostburg State game last week.
I saw that. I couldn't believe that. That's a lot of time. It used to be if you got 5 minutes as an individual, you were out of the game. They're spreading the wealth around in that game. So 5-on-5 here. I've said this for the last couple of years. Coach Hutchinson loves his 3-3. So I imagine once they get that extra player, it looks like it's going to be Wollaston, the first year out of Gilman, coming out of the substitution area. They're going to probably get to this 3-3 and get the shooters going. Perry, Masnick, Malone, Spidell, Ip, and they'll roll Wollaston in once the penalty releases.
30 seconds. We're pushing.
So we are 4-on-4. Excuse me, we're 5-on-5 for the next 5 seconds. And we're now 6-on-5 as Wollaston comes in.
Playing a 5-man rotation here. Hoddle's going to cover this top left side, so shooter strength to the left side. Great save by McCool. The book is out. Harvard's taking all these low shots. That's where they're aiming, and they're doing it on purpose with Malone coming around the cage right there.
And Harvard able to maintain possession. Shot clock at 60. We are still in the first quarter. Ball on the deck.
Great double. Great double from the backside on the GLE. Harvard unable to pick the ground ball up. This is going to be Orange ball going the other way.
Although they're staying warm with Harvard lacrosse hats today. 5 to go here in the first. Low shot. Stevens got a piece of it. Gary Gate talked about that this week, not wanting to rush possessions. Turnovers were an issue against Harvard last year. Spallina turns the corner and scores. He just kind of bided his time, then found the window.
That is tough to stop for Charlie Muller. He's hitting Spallina with that heavy hand, trying to get in his way. Joe Spallina knows how to get to that right hand, and you can see him running through Muller's top hand, his strength hand with the left-handed defenseman.
And he said, what did CJ Kirst do that I didn't when Schaller shut down Spallina in the semifinal? McEntee, goal line extended, got knocked, lost the ball to Spallina. Quick stick out in front, Stevens up to the task. Great defensive move by the keeper.
They're keeping it to their top 10 or 11 players, and that's exactly what we're seeing. You see this high house type formation. Thompson pops off the crease.
Rolla drops down his stick and scores. That's 2 for the senior in the first, and Syracuse getting what it wants on offense. 4-1 lead for the #1 team in the country.
Ball speed that the blue shirts are playing with right now is making it tough, especially when their hammers from the outside are finding the back of the net. You can see with their spacing, those are long slides. There's your switch off the pick. Harvard doesn't do a lot of those picks on ball, but here you got Malone with a short stick, forcing Syracuse to rotate.
Around goal line, Arndt scores. Second of the season for the senior from Michigan.
Arndt, who's a senior, played attack and midfield throughout his career. That is a strong left-handed finish coming around the cage.
Here's that senior midfield again. Arndt, Ip, and Perry.
Arndt has a goal. Perry has a goal. Arndt gets through. Arndt has 2 goals. No one stopped the freight train. Went across his face and makes it 4-3.
They're going with an open triangle up top, forcing Syracuse to have to slide off the crease. If they don't, they're to slide off an adjacent to get shooting spots.
To his left hand, McEntee puts the ball on the ground, picked up by the Crimson, and now Harvard's going to run. Try to score unsettled. Here comes Muller. Quick shot. Spidell goes low. And then it does stay with Harvard off the miss.
First time all season this year I've seen a pole pick up a ground ball and have the actual defenseman push that transition. Great job by Charlie Muller.
Yep. Cranks and scores! Tie game. It in off the bench.
That is a massive goal. This first senior midfield is doing some damage so far. Each man has a goal, and they're generating a ton of shots. Ip, who last game we were talking about his left hand, this is just a right-handed power.
Shot clock violation.
Harvard's done a great job playing under control, limiting the opportunities to Stevens. It's can they clear? Once again, the middle of the field has been very difficult for both teams, and that is not going to go over well. Has never seen a shot that's not good, and he forces it. He shoots the ball real heavy.
Ducking inside, Leo tried to go 5-hole, and Stevens squashes it. 20 seconds, man down here for the Crimson. Owen Guest can score in transition. Guest goes right to this goal and missed low.
Here's your 3-3 with Spidell in the middle. You have to pay attention to Jack Spidell inside.
Number 4 in white just sitting in the middle of that zone. Shot rips high. If your eyes are on 4, 41 can beat you. That's the second for Andrew Perry.
Andrew Perry throws hammers at the cage, and you can see it's almost like he's the go-to guy this year on the extra man.
First lead for the Crimson since 1-0. Spallina. Little muddled scenario behind the cage, off the hands of Stevens. 50 in blue, he's got some size on Perry. Gary Gate was concerned about Harvard's ability to run by the midfielders. Arndt with the roll dodge, that hit a body, deflection, thrown back in! Jack Spidell couldn't do that again if he tried!
Wow, that was incredible. Most think of Jack Spidell's highlight reel as being behind the backs. Talk about rebounds off the defender's shoulder and then putting it by the ACC's Defensive Player of the Year. That's exactly what's happening here. Star off the defender, Jack Spidell from St. Anthony's.
Running Joey Spallina out of the box, or I'm sorry, he's doing some substitution to get the defensive midfield in. Here's Ip, Arndt, and Perry. Long slides here. You see they switch the matchup to Bowen to Perry. Early shot, high to low, maybe a little rushed, but he put it on cage.
Shot clock down to 22. Ball with 22. Spallina faked over the shoulder, went low, missed, behind the back, loose ball. 13 on the shot clock, picked up by Roa. Shot clock down to 5.
Spallina froze to Koenig.
Behind the back, Finn Thompson. That is fine. It's 6-5.
Spallina had froze to Koenig with that behind the back fake, and Thompson finally gets himself on the score sheet with a behind the back off the feed from about 7 yards. You don't do that unless you practice it. That was an excellent finish by the Toronto native.
That was like the 9th behind the back pass and or shot of the possession, by the way.
Pass down, pick downs here in the Syracuse offense to get these midfield shooters free.
Leo has the shorty of Picorni. And another one! Better passing for the Orange, tied up at 6. 3 minutes into quarter 3.
That's 2 goals off 2 feeds, and the ball wasn't in the shooter stick for more than a combined half a second. Hoddle, the in front of your back version of what Finn Thompson just did. You see the long feed, skips the defense.
Anderson on the shorty. Runs by Jensen, gets absolutely licked. And another goal for the Orange. The physicality doesn't matter. Running by Harvard and bench pressing in celebration.
See, when you take Thompson, you put him in the midfield and then run him in front of the cage, you're creating slides off of the shooter. And you can see Muller's trying to look to help, and as he takes one step, that's a great feed in the phone booth there. That's a 2-yard feed.
Baracco in, wins the faceoff after Umansky had violated. Baracco goes to Cage. Saved by McCool. Luckily for the Crimson, they keep possession. Decidedly, Jackson Green was not open. Sets the pick for Malone. Figueres stays with him. Now Spidell around GLE. That's off a body of McCool.
I think that hit him right in the face.
Cortez picks it up and hits it right in the back of the cage.
Cortez, you see the Dodgers, the finisher, you see the adult on the midfield. That was a very adult play there. He picks up that ground ball in traffic, takes 2 more steps to blast it by McCool. Here you can see the Lucy right there. Cortez gets through the long stick, puts that second hand on it, and just rips that thing to Jimmy McCool. Nothing he could do.
That was Umansky back in there after Baracco took the prior face-off. It'll be Angelo instead of Mullen next time for Syracuse. Turning, shot, score! Question mark for Cobury. Then Harvard's back in front by a goal.
You can see the alley dodge for John Arndt, draws the slide, throws the skip pass. Teddy Malone very casually hits Cobury with that right on the doorstep.
Now here's Malone. 6 goals against Colgate on Tuesday. He's been quiet today. Quick pass out in front. That's a broom shot. Just scraping the turf, and Cobury couldn't send it home.
Great job by Malone. He had the freshman Jaden Kittleberger on him there. That is a green light. Thompson into the midfield. Some new opportunities here for the players. No slide to Malone here.
Going one-on-one against number 11, Figueres. He scores. Teddy Malone's first of the day. Punch for punch, blow for blow. Harvard leads by 2. Syracuse is the number 1 team in the country. You don't panic in situations like this. They've been here. What's going on that bench right now?
I think they're just looking for more opportunities, knowing Syracuse and how they go about their business. It's an opportunity.
That's another putback dunk. Harvard wants a goal out of it, and that is a goal. Cobury, for the 2nd time today, the Crimson off a rebound.
Arndt right off McCool, loose ball in front. Cobury just does what he's supposed to do as the youngest guy on the floor, in my opinion. He should do the dirty work for the older kids.
Leo has the shorty on him. Senior Finn Picorni out of Darien. Gets in deep. Ball on the ground. Stevens picks it up.
They have belief in their system and who they are. But I don't know if they're going to have to make some changes if Perry puts one on the board right here.
Perry rips. Knocked down by McCool. Picked up by Syracuse.
I think we'd get close to probably 4,500 if there was no snow.
I'm just going to say there's 4,500 people here.
I like that.
No. Leo up top, open, and scores. Couple of goals for Syracuse have come by midfielders. Roa had one early, and Leo now here in the third.
Shooters shoot. The lefty gets time and room, and he puts it low offside. That's a tough save to make for Stevens, the big goalie. You see he comes right off his shoulder. He's not dropping that stick below 3 o'clock.
Cortez. 55 and White has a goal. He's usually the drink stirrer. Malone trying to bully his way from his knees, missed 5-hole.
That's an interesting call there. No push with the possession. They call an offhand ward there. Is that what that elbow up thing's an interference? But
Spolina misses on the bounce.
potentially the biggest save of the game right there by Stevens if they can get this clear. Here's the first midfield here. Let's see what they're doing. I would go with Perry on the high wing dodge. He's been able to get the step.
That's 41 in White. Arndt has the ball checked out of his stick. Good trail by Bowen, the shorty. Jump into the forefront for Harvard. They've answered the call. McEntee is one of the up-and-comers for Syracuse, and he finds the back of the cage. Second goal of the season for the sophomore, upper 90.
They've talked about, they being press, Syracuse's versions of us, and Coach Gate talked about McEntee being a two-handed threat, and you can see that started off as a great long slide by Sean Jordan, but you see the stop and roll back. Very little you can do. McEntee puts that right on cage.
Has the short stick on him, and Finn Jensen. That's still the matchup. Spolina pulls his way to the cage. Rebound kicked out by Stevens. Still loose, and Stevens has it.
We got to just let the players play here. Big matchup behind the cage here. The guy you call Bear going against Owen Guest here. This is a big opportunity.
Beats him and scores. Got a first step on him. Peyton Anderson's fourth of the year.
That is a grown man's dodge to dodge the cage there with his right hand. Anderson kind of chicken wings. Guest with his left hand gets over the top, seals him off, and then just dunks that. Stevens, you can see, comes out, tries to match the shooter.
How do you want to see this thing called down the stretch?
Personally, I'd rather have the kids play. If there's something you need to throw the flag on, something that's so obvious, that's one thing. But 3 possessions and three times the officials have impacted play.
And given Harvard an opportunity, man down. Well, he throws it away on the clear. Penalty half exhausted. And Harvard's done a good job man down.
Numbers opportunity here. Harvard's got to recover to slow down this Syracuse offense.
Big shot. Roll on the bounce from up top. Got him in rotation, and the #1 team has a 1-goal lead.
Roa has done a great job all day with his standstill shooting. He just really shoots the ball with that nice heavy overhand motion. Tough to stop. This one looks like it kicks up on Stevens. But look at that, no slides anywhere, time and room, and it just kicks right up in the righty's face.
That's where Spolina's living at the moment. Switched onto a shorty.
That's a tough slide. He wasn't beating DeKoning. Now you got a short stick on Spolina.
And he gets inside to score. Spolina got the matchup, his second goal, and a 2-goal lead.
That's a tough slide. DeKoning hasn't really gotten beat with the dodge yet today. You know, he's on the island there. He's at 5-5. For Finn Jensen to brush off DeKoning there and create opportunity. You knew Spolina, once this happened, was going to the cage. And then I hate to say it, but he kind of just muscled in, used his butt there, and got to the spot. You see Spidell, great hands there. He's catching that like right-handed, but like a little weird. And here's a chance off the end line for Teddy Malone.
Hit the pipe, curling off the goal line extended. Ricochet picked up by Arndt. He was ready to crank.
But he can get shots, and that that's Billy's uncle. That defense on ball by Billy Dwan is tough to defeat.
Arndt into space, gets out in front and scores.
He was just running free. No one picked him up at him.
And you can see John Martin having a great day. He's in space there. He just flat out runs by his defender. I feel bad almost for Jimmy McCool, but they're so dynamic in space. If Umansky can get another opportunity here for his teammates, who knows what can happen. But Harvard, that's a big goal.
And Angelo had to take the face off because Mullen violated the last time. So Umansky wins. Now +3 at the faceoff X. Jordan goes to cage and scores! A pole goal to tie it at 12.
Wow, Joel. Sean Jordan, full field, goes right down Broadway there.
And not come up with a score. And now Mullen back in against Umansky, and he plucks one away from his club teammate, and Syracuse back on offense. Mullen's gonna go to cage. Oh, that's a great save by Stevens. Well, they've got Figueres back on
Cortez.
Spidell.
Sorry, Joel. Arndt and Cortez with the short sticks here. Here's Malone from up top.
Malone falls down with the ball, and Figueres picks it up off the deck. Syracuse was up 12-10. Orange has made 2 concerted second half pushes. Harvard's responded to both, and Spallina misses.
Charlie Mullen, great hustle. Moving Jack Spidell behind the cage, so he'll be open out of spin because Blonde's going to slide if he needs to.
Here comes Arndt to his left. Hands are free, but he wants to get right. He does. Ooh, good slide over on the doorstep. A finish to give Harvard the lead with 50 seconds to go.
Wow. What a dodge. What team offense there, forcing the rotation out of the Syracuse defense. Great feed here. You see John Arndt. Is he going to go? No, he's going to bail.
44 seconds in regulation. Syracuse down 1. Here is Spallina with the pick. Goes to goal. And it's knocked away by Stevens. Picked up by Harvard. Guest running like a bat out of hell. With a pole. Ip with 15 seconds left to go. Hits the deck. The ball is free, and Syracuse has it with 10. McCool with 8. Orange got to go. Harvard leading by 1 with 5 seconds. Syracuse cannot get free. Harvard has knocked off the #1 team in the country.
Harvard wins. Final score, Harvard Crimson 13, Syracuse Orange 12.